Hey, welcome into Laying Down the Law, presented by the Orlando Law Group. The answers provided on this show do not constitute actual legal advice and do not create an attorney-client relationship. For legal advice, please call the Orlando Law Group's office at 407-512-4394. That's 407-512-4394. Our guest on today's show, Sonia Narvaez, President and CEO at CPA and Accounting and Tax Services, with over 20 years of business experience here in Orlando. Let's get back to our conversation with Jennifer and Sonia.
So there is actually a way to go to the IRS and try to basically prove who has the children longer, and the IRS actually will respond to that?
Yes. Yes, you want to literally talk to them and send some kind of proof. Even like, for example, I usually say, okay, let's send the divorce decree. That basically, I don't want to be back and forth, wasting time. It'll be easier and faster. You send that proof. It's better to do it that way. Otherwise, you're going to get into this, I should have claimed him, but I should have had the reason. And then now they're also going to be, okay, well, who really can? You can put the IRS in that situation where they don't really know. So the only way to do it is literally prove it to them. And you can send the proof and go from there. And we address issues like that many times on a lot of things.
Okay, yeah, I know sometimes it's hard to get them to follow up on a bunch of different things. So, then they eventually, how quickly does it take them to go back and get money from the other parent, or to basically the parent who was supposed to have, who claimed the kids incorrectly? Do they do it pretty quickly, or does it take like a couple years?
It's the parent that is supposed to rightfully claim them. It's going to take longer, because once they've been e-filed, they're not going to get those. They're not going to get those funds fairly fast. It's going to take easily 10 weeks by the time that, especially right now.
Okay.
For the parents that owe the money, then they'll go after them. Hopefully they'll get it back right away, or they'll have to get on a payment plan, and they may have some penalties and issues with the incorrect information, incorrect filing.
And is that something that probably, if somebody is going to go down that road, should they get an accountant to help them as opposed to just kind of doing it on their own?
Well, first, it depends on the situation, like the amount of money. If you know that you incorrectly filed a tax return and you were not entitled to those credits, there should be a certain amount of money that it should be on the tax return, or you can consult with someone that can explain to you whether the IRS has made the right assumptions. That if the letter is not very clear, which a lot of times they're not, then I would seek for some help. Otherwise, the IRS is just going to reverse. Most of the times, they're just going to reverse the credit and just send you the bill, tell you were not entitled, and then figure out a way to pay for it right away, or get on an installment plan.
I know you were saying something also, that if potentially like grandparents are taking care of the children, or another family member that might not be the parents on the, and might not have a settlement agreement or any kind of custody agreement or anything, because that happens too, that maybe there's a way that they could claim the kids that they're taking care of?
Yes, and that's a very good question. And this is actually very interesting. So I'll give you an example to see, because sometimes this could get a little confusing. So let's say we have a couple who lives with, they're not married, lives the girlfriend, the man is making most of the money. The lady has a child from a different relationship. And they're living together. The lady does not make enough money to file a return. The man is supporting both the girlfriend and her child. Literally at that point, if the lady is making under a certain amount of income, or she's not working at all, not only he can claim the child, but he can also claim the lady as dependents. And they're entitled to do it as long as there's that physical presence, that physical custody overnight at at their home. So they should be able to get that deduction.
You're listening to Laying Down the Law, presented by the Orlando Law Group. The answers given on this show do not constitute as legal advice and do not create an attorney-client relationship. For legal advice, you can call the Orlando Law Group's office at 407-512-4394. That's 407-512-4394. More with our guest, Sonia E. Narvaez, President and CEO at CPA and Accounting Tax Services, over 20 years right here in Orlando, coming up on WDBO.